opportunities for the youth and women on the ground. So we'll be talking to him about that. Then we have Sri Madan Patki, who is a managing trustee of Headheld High Foundation, a foundation whose work has been significant in terms of unlocking many opportunities for youth, for converting youth into entrepreneurs and so on and so forth. So we'll have Madan talk about that. And incidentally, we realized that Madan and Sriram were roommates at college. So he's joined, and I had no idea, by the way, right? So this is serendipity. This is the magic of discovery, which we are going to talk about shortly. So Sriram is a partner at Deloitte, and he's been involved in terms of talking about how approach like this can really benefit folks in the economy and ultimately the citizens in this context. So without further ado, I'll just get started with that. But thank you everyone for being there. And once again, is it working now? अभी कर लें पहले फोटो ओके पहले फोटो बाद बाद में All right. I know there's a tagline for this session, unlocking India's demographic dividend, and how blue dots to the power of AI can be the digital rails to and how blue dots to the power of AI can be the digital rails to do that. Little bit about that idea or the concept in terms of what we'll be talking about. I think we have heard a couple of very popular narratives in the context of employment, in the context of the demographic dividend of the country. It's which is youth. One which has been about the fact that India is struggling with the jobs crisis. We need to have many, many more jobs and so on and so forth. Second, that while we do have the demographic dividend, but is it a dividend or a liability? And we talk about a skills crisis in that context, that probably we're not preparing our youth to pick up the relevant skills which can ultimately lead them to be employed by the industry. But I think there's a missing narrative also in this context, and that's something that will surface as we talk about this, which is that uh, there are enough and more youth in the country. There are enough and more avenues for them to pursue their dreams in the country, but the two are not digitally discoverable, and that creates a discovery crisis. In fact, just think about this: that all of us can see blue dots of uh, uh, different options around us, right from places of interest to finding cabs to finding restaurants. But can you find jobs around you as a blue dot? Can you find tourism experiences around you as a blue dot? Can you find many other aspects that are important in your life around you as a blue dot? And that's the thing that we'll speak about, that when you enable discovery to be addressed in that context, that opens up many avenues. In fact, there are pilots on this which are happening in Ghaziabad, that Abhinavji is leading, likewise in Dharwad, in Ranchi, and at a few other places which will be shortly starting that. But what that is revealing is that the moment you make the youth, the people as blue dots, and you make the opportunities, be it in the context of livelihood, welfare schemes, etc., as blue dots, that's really starts changing the discovery game. And with that discovery game, a lot of aha factors come up, and we'll shortly be discussing that. So just to kick it off, Manmiji, I wanted to ask the first question to you. We, of course, talk about the aspect that India may or may not have the right capability. But is it true that we have a capabilities gap, or is it really, discovery as a gap which stops us from seeing the capabilities of people, and especially with initiative that you're leading, which is around creating purple dots for people with disabilities, and almost 1 lakh plus have been created, very recently. So how do you see this as a problem? I mean, is that a problem of capability, or are we really missing out on something which is pointing to the problem of discovery in the country?
Thank you, Gauravji, and a very good afternoon. I think it's not a problem of capability. India does not lack the ability. But what India lacks is the 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 source of visibility, or basically discoverability, like you call it. We have seen through our government schemes, and this could be typical of any government scheme across different ministries. There's always a whole framework that we put in. We have a lot of standards that it matches these check boxes, only then you are eligible for that particular scheme. And many a times, many funds remain unspent primarily because we are unable to find the exact person fitting those particular check boxes that we call as eligibility. But besides them, there's a huge cohort of people who are sitting there ready to be discovered, like you put it. And I think it's that visibility that we are looking through. And this is the time that we are need to use AI and technology in the best possible way to identify that cohort of people who may not, as like I said, fall into that framework of a government scheme, but that does not mean that they don't have the aspirations, the capabilities, the talent, the ability. That what they lack is the visibility from the government perspective. But then government is not the only provider to match their aspirations. The government can also, with the use of smart AI and technology platform, bring their aspirations to match with a set of people who are willing to contribute to that. And I think that's what the purple dot slash blue dot, and today I've heard an orange dot is talking about.
Right. Orange dot, yeah, that's the new one. No, thank you for articulating that. In fact, what you're bringing out is the fact that we don't really have a problem in terms of having people with aspirations or having livelihood avenues, avenues for skilling, avenues for different types of services or welfare schemes. The real thing is to make it surfaceable, discoverable, and that's where AI, with its ability to convert intent into voice, into a signal, that really can be a game changer.
We are a very aspirational country at this point of time. We talk about the democratic dividend. That dividend comes with coming with a lot of hope and a lot of aspirations. And I think we need to give a voice to each one of them. And that can happen only when we open doors, windows, whether it has to be physically done or digitally done, but we need to do that.
Excellent. So AI giving voice in a way to the youth, to the women, to the aspirations of people with disabilities, and that coming up. Thank you. Abhinavji, uh, you're really doing it on the ground, enabling this in Ghaziabad. In fact, we got to know about how in just the last couple of months you've been able to surface so many local jobs for the local people of Ghaziabad, right? So what is this approach telling you from a practitioner's perspective as you see many local job options being made discoverable for the local youth, local women of Ghaziabad? And how do you see this moving from there?
See, when we look at the entire ecosystem of this employment, we have many stakeholders. For example, you have the employment exchange, which is having the database of all the aspirants who want to get job. Then we have the Polytechnic, ITI, Skill Development Mission, UP Skill Development Mission as a state mission, which are skilling youth in certain skills which are required in the market. Then we have the industries, which are the job providers. And all these stakeholders, they are working under different ministries, under different departments. And when we see this entire ecosystem, nobody thinks of it under one umbrella when we see it at the district level. And this is where the discovery part comes into picture and the use of AI comes into picture. Where what we did was to enable this AI-based technology or AI-based discovery, we brought all these stakeholders together under one umbrella, which was Jobs Facilitation Center, which we formed at the district level, and all these departments and all these stakeholders, they were brought together. And they were made to exchange the database, they were made to exchange the information. For example, Ghaziabad. Ghaziabad has 2.5 lakh registered MSMEs, and obviously unofficially also much more than many more than that. So when we talk about 2.5 lakh MSMEs, that means we are as an having too many jobs. If I even average it like 5 per MSME, so you can see the numbers, which is huge.
Yeah.
And when we used to conduct the offline melas, numbers used to be 2,500, 35. 100, 5,000 at max, matlab, at max, which we went at a CM's event was 5,000,
Right.
not more than that. So getting these many jobs surfaced was a task, especially having any offline setup, and all these departments working separately.
Right.
Because whenever, just an example, departments working separately.
Right.
Because whenever, just departments working separately.
Right.
Because whenever, just an example. For example, I used to ask these employment exchange officer ki yaar, you tell me how many students you have been able to reach out, or these aspirants have been able to reach out, who will be coming to the employment mela. So the usual answer used to be, sir, 8,000, 10,000. Out of those, hardly 50, 60% used to turn up at thousand. Out of those, hardly 50, 60% used to turn up at the mela. So, but when we started this blue dot, because this was the vision behind all that. So but when we started this blue dot, because this was the vision behind all that. So we made sure that all these GFC members they sit together. We had multiple meetings with them, and we made sure that the district industry center, which is responsible for handling all the MSME issues, we made sure we held all the meetings with industrial associations. Get all these MSMEs on this platform. Ask them to create the blue dots in form of job providers on this platform. Number one, that's how we created more than 10,000 jobs in last 6 days, where we met almost 10 to 12 industries association, where obviously headed high and except both of them did really well because held high team was there, because you know that key you need to really motivate the staff down, and that's why we needed the help of someone like held high to push it, and that's how we created 10,000 and that's how we created 10,000 jobs. And when it came to job seekers, we were finding it difficult to register these students. For example, we also had the higher education officer in this GFC, but he or she was not able to basically generate those many numbers because they didn't have any database of the alumni.
Right.
For example, because these local colleges, they don't have this concept of alumni association or even maintaining a database of those students who have already graduated, or even they don't have any idea if they're employed or not. So in that sense, that's where the AI chatbot came to the picture, and AI bot rather, calling bot. And we were amazed that when we use the same database which Employment Exchange had, say 8,000 data was with the Employment Exchange, almost 24,000 ka data was with the skill development department. So almost we had the data of 32, 40,000 students or the job seekers. This AI bot, what it did was it called called all these students, and we were able to generate 10,000 blue dot as job seekers on this platform with the help of AI bot. And that is where even this was a revelation for me also. Matlab, even I never thought a bot, a calling bot, can do so many things. Matlab, in fact, when I was discussing the same with the Adarsh ji yesterday, so he mentioned that we have a step 3 also. And I was amazed. Matlab, the next step would be like the bot will be asking you, okay, what exactly do you need? As in, what skills you want to get skilled into. So then we'll be bringing in the other partners, other stakeholders of the ecosystem. For example, the staffers, the placement agencies, because these MSMEs, they always used to approach the local placement agencies to get these staffed. But now imagine all the placement agencies of Ghaziabad, or say locally, all the near Noida or Meerut. So all the placement agencies, staffing firms, skilling centers, skilling as an agencies, they all will be on the same platform, and will be will create an ecosystem which has been so dispersed at this time. So this was the experiences.
No, excellent. That's amazing. In fact, just for perspective, I also wanted to share that when you look at the conventional job platforms like Naukri, Apna, all of these, uh, everyone put together could not even show 100 jobs in Ghaziabad, right? And what Abhinavji is talking about, 10,000 plus jobs, and I think that came out of just 1,000 odd MSMEs that were reached out.
Yes.
Right. So
Only through associations. Matlab,
only through associations approaching them, and we are talking about 2.5 lakh MSMEs in Ghaziabad. So does India really have a jobs problem? I think the answer lies in what he's been trying, and how AI gave voice to people so that the jobs can become a blue dot, so that people can see around that, and vice versa. But Madan, now
Can I butt in
You
before
please.
you speak with Mr. Madan? And a request to Abhinav and his entire team, and probably the Head Held High Foundation, who's working with the Ghaziabad Authority, is that while you do this headhunting exercise for so many unemployed youths and along with MSMEs there, I think the requirement is also to ensure that you reach out to the PWDs there, and that data can be, of course, it is already with you if you have an integration with the UDID database. You will be able to identify the PWD youth there. And when you have MSMEs there, anybody willing to take up a PWD and give them the skill sets along with whatever you need, we'll be happy to help you if you required SOPs for the hearing impaired or for the vision impaired. We have other organizations here who work in that field, like Uniki and Gopal Krishna and all the others. We'll be happy to join in this exercise. But my deep request to all of you is that when you take on the youth, don't forget the youth that are with disabilities in this entire exercise.
Excellent.
In fact, we have 15,000 specially able people registered under UDID scheme. Yes, ma'am.
So 15,000 purple dots hence can happen in Ghaziabad.
Yes, definitely, ma'am. In fact, ma'am, we had we did a small project with the IOCL and one of our. As in, I'm from IT Madras, ma'am. As in, I graduated from IT Madras, so one of my senior had they have a startup. So we collaborated with NeoMotion and IOCL, and we got them placed in Zomato also. So Zomato has service delivery partners.
Zomato has 2,500 PWDs working with them.
Oh, excellent.
So these are just examples that can be emulated by MSMEs. And trust me, these people are better workers. They're more sincere. They adapt well. But the only thing that's required is a SOP for them and on-job training, so that the attrition rate is lower. They are aware of what they are getting into.
Yeah, though that becomes it's important.
Right.
So that's an excellent point in terms of how people with disabilities can participate. And thank you, Abhinavji, for accepting that request. Madan, so Abhinavji, you have to head out, right? I know. So, but request made, request accepted. So at least that part taken care of.
Action item.
All right. So, Madan, I'll ask the question to you. Abhinavji, thank you. I think you have to leave for an important meeting, but thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Madan, so you've been advocate of Blue Dots. You've been working with the ecosystem across different implementations. I just wanted to ask you, what do Blue Dots really mean to you? And what are the kind of use cases that come into your mind when you think of something like Blue Dots, especially those linked to unlocking India's demographic dividend?
Thank you, Gaurav, and fascinating to hear the comments and the thoughts. Now, I was just reflecting as I was sitting here, the discoverability, as you said, Blue Dots help discover two roommates after a long time. But I was just thinking, see, my dad used to run a travel agency. So when I was growing up, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, I used to go and do all the coordinations on phone, and somebody calls and say, cab driver has not come. Then you call that guy. By the time you call this fellow, the cab driver is somewhere else. It used to be such a nightmare trying to get the addresses going. And then came Uber many years later.
Yeah.
It changed the whole perspective that you look at a problem and say, if you apply tech, what emerges? And I have wondered many times, saying that it's such a simple idea. Why didn't it strike anybody? Right? And Uber then went on to obviously respond to many billions of dollars of the inflection point that we are at today is that the Blue Dot, as an example, is that it not just gives us, it forces us to reimagine the way things work. Right? And if we don't reimagine, we will be still stuck in the old world. Right? So the whole concept that we've been talking about is that if you use four forces, and Manmeet was talking about the whole aspirations, and I truly believe that unless and until aspirations are understood and packaged and catered to, adoption won't happen.
Right.
So you take aspirations, you take youth power, which Head and I, we've been doing it for 15 years, and you take entrepreneurial resilience that exists in Bharat, and you take technology, you combine those four forces, you can create a new rural, and I call it as Ruben, and therefore Rubenomics.
Right.
So to me, the AI part and the Blue Dot and the DPI is that what can you do to give the power of DPI to the power of AI to the youth? Right? Well, you said Blue Dots to the power of AI. I'm saying there is a youth power, add the DPI power and the AI power to it.
Right.
The net effect can be exponential. Right? We've been discussing the Blue Dots on the purple dots and the orange dots. The beauty of AI is hyper-personalization, right?
Yeah.
So instead of just conceptualizing Blue Dot today as a point in time, what if the Blue Dot grows in size and colors in the journey of the youth?
Right.
So one of the things that we hear, and this we keep talking to our recruiters, to say from the lens of a youth, attrition is not a bug, it's a feature. Because if I'm a youth from a tier 4, tier 3 town, I've started working in a hotel, I don't like it, I'll quit it and try something else, till I settle down. Right? So how do you make that feature better? That how do you help youth career discover what they're good at, do it faster, right? Can you give them more opportunities as they go along? So this whole aspect of leveraging the power of youth to explore many economic opportunities, and not just economic opportunities, social opportunities that bring them dignity. Right? One of my biggest lessons in Hedelda has been that, well, we keep saying, and I'm sure, ma'am, you'll see this in the work that you do, that it is not just a job, it is the social dignity that it provides. That's why the name we call it is a head held high, that where the mind is without fear, the head is held high, right? And money is a byproduct of that. So I think it gives all of us an opportunity for all sections of the society to really think, how do we bring the power of economic empowerment and social dignity? And how do we amplify it through this blue dot revolution? That is the thought that I have, and it can go in any number of thought that I have, and it can go in any number of directions.